I've now been playing Ultimate General Civil War on hard difficulty with the small army, small unit size, and this is so much fun. I don't think I'll ever go back to playing on normal difficulty. This is a well-balanced challenge, and once you figure out how scaling works, it's a lot of fun. The large units are not fun to play on major general difficulty. And that's because they're real ineffective, they're real expensive, they take losses, and the enemy scales up to you. And you end up looking at a map of all 2,900 enemy units with huge with 3 stars. Every unit has 3 stars. So what I end up with is I have found that I want to buy 24-pound howitzers, 20-pound Parrots when I can afford them, and the 6-pound rifle. And that's going to be pretty much everything that I'm going to have once I get started. I don't have any money right now, but that's what I'm going to have. My infantry is going to have mostly Harper's Ferries very soon, and that's going to be how that's going to go. I buy all of the good sniper weapons, the JF Browns and the Spencers, and the Cav gets the 1859s. So the unit sizes for the infantry when I go into Antietam is going to be 1,250, which sounds really small, but the AI scales to you, so the enemy units are going to be 1,100, 1,200. Some of the units are only going to be 700, 800, and that makes for a really fun battle. Yeah, they're going to have 2 and 3 stars, but they're not going to be 2,900, and you don't want that. So my Cav units now, I mean, I'm only buying 94 because that's all I get for free. So in the beginning, I just buy, well, what do I have for free is always my first question. So I only need a small Cav unit to get experience and to scarf up supply wagons. And the Cav units are really, really good and really important. And you have to have the skirmisher units. So the skirmisher size I end up settling on. I go up to 350, but anything, I think I settle on 250 to 300. I'd rather have a skirmisher sniper unit. They're actually called sharpshooter unit. I'd rather have one per division rather than, say, a division of just skirmishers. So notice the number 28,427 and 40 guns. I'm going to buy a battery, and my artillery batteries are going to end up being 8 guns per battery. That sounds small, but what that means is all my batteries will have 24-pound howitzers and 20-pound Parrots and the 6-pound rifle, which is a great gun. So I'm going to build a 6-pound, and the 6-pounders are fine. It's just, and they're free. So because I have 10 6-pounders now, I'm going to build a unit of 10 guns. And that's going to drive up both the enemy number of troops, and it's also going to drive up the number of guns. So I built 10 guns, and the enemy went up 5. And I think he went up 130 men as well, something like that. So the question is, do I want this battery? And the answer is yes. The reason I want this battery is I need this battery to get its first unit perk, because I'm going to dump 24-pound howitzers in there after this battle as soon as I possibly can. And either I lose 2 guns or something. I must lose 2 guns because he gets down to 8, so which is where I want him. So I thought I was going to go into Antietam with batteries of 10, but batteries of 8 work just great. 6 is a little small because, well, if you take a hit, you get a melee, the unit can be destroyed, and you don't want any of your good units to be destroyed. You can rebuild a unit if it doesn't die, but if it dies, it's gone, and you lose the officer as well. So 6 is a little fragile, but 10 is, or 8 is good. and 8 is effective. I get really good results with 8-pound batteries. My goal is to have more batteries and a smaller number of weapons rather than fewer units and more guns and more men per unit. And that works out really well for scaling because all of the side battles are based on average unit size. So the grand battles are total number of troops and guns, but the side battles are average unit size. So if you have small units, you drive down scaling, and that has a huge payoff after first bull run, which I will show you. So anyway, I can't really show you ballast units here because I don't have money or men or weapons, but in the next camp, I'll show you how to use ballast units to drive down the numbers even more, to drive down scaling even more effectively. And yeah, the important thing about this series isn't the battles, it's what I do in camp to make sure the battles are easy. And yeah, I have exactly the army I want. Going into first bull run, I always like to buy a couple of majors and captains. They always turn out to be really worthwhile. And they're especially worthwhile when you're doing scaling, when you're working with scaling on Major General, because you have to build a lot of tiny units, the smallest size units you possibly can. And a bunch of low-ranking captains and majors are really handy when you do that, as you will see the next time we go to camp. So anyway, there'll be a battle. We'll get very good results. We'll wipe out the enemy army. It'll all be great. And then we'll come back to camp and we'll continue to work with scaling, which is the really important thing to having a good time playing Major General. Thanks.